Right, as I said earlier, I was going to take the side pods off my new Arai and lube the internals just so that the visor mechanism works. In the service kit, silicone sealant grease and the Arai popsicle tool. This is the one that I've already had. I've used this numerous times and I'd much prefer to use what's been tried and tested. I'm use this normally, but recently I found that this thing that you buy from Matlin's, silicone grease, which is effectively what that is, and the seals themselves are silicone. So I use a grease that's compatible. $3.99 from Matlin's. A bit more viscous, but it stays on for longer. It also means that the crud also gets trapped in, but you know, if you're religious with your cleaning, it shouldn't be a problem. First things first, you take the visor off. Up, 2 triggers, push them up. 11 o'clock position, and it just slides off naturally. These are the extended fingers that I was talking about, so that's why you have to align your helmet when you come to changing the visors. This fish hook, you know, when you move your side pods, your visor, the levers retract, so use the fish hooks to get the levers off. And I'm aiming for that red tab on the inside. It's the first time I've done it on this helmet, so bear with me, and it's sliding off all the time. There you go. So with the cover off, what I was doing, getting underneath there and depressing that. Sorry, yeah. Similar on this side. It's a proper pain in the arse, but there you go. So it's the first time I've done it on this helmet. Silicone grease. You don't want to smear the stuff. That much is more than enough. All on the inner surface. Give it a good plating. So you're looking about that much. Be very liberal with it though. Again on the other side, all on the mechanism, because this is a friction based visor retention system. It doesn't have any detents, so the more you lube it, the smoother it gets, the less strain it puts on that tab and that, which basically, if you're moving your visor on an open and closed position continuously, or you're changing them, it kind of forces the side pods apart, and more friction, more stress, more strain. Plastic gets brittle. This is also another reason why I'm doing this, so it just protects the plastic, particularly with all the salt out and about. I'm not particularly sure what plastic this is. Is it ABS? I'm not sure. We'll see. So, I've now got it on that. The excess that you've got on your hand, or you could smear it all over the rubber seal. It's good to use against this. It's just a more viscous version of that. Where I'm working at the moment, I'm working in the Seals and Polymers team within the materials group, and they're knowledgeable chaps, PhD guys, and they work with all sorts of seals and stuff and know what sort of grease to be putting on, so rest assured I've been given their advice. Good to go on this lid, and you can use it continuously. Right, so what I'm going to do now, align the top tab with that, the bottom tab with the bottom, and it should just snap back on. Not literally snap back on, but you know what I mean. The top's aligned, bottom should sort of click. greasy hands make it difficult. So that's the first click. You should normally hear a second click. So it's fully engaged, but I didn't hear it. One way to check that it is fully in, snap it out, try and ping it off. Make sure that the levers have been fished out, so it makes your visor installation easier. Same to this side, top. It's a bit fidgety and it's a bit out of your way to do this. If you're not confident in doing it, then you take it to an Arai 5-star dealer. They'll happily do it for you. But there you go. You hear that click, click? That's what you're looking for. Yeah, you could take it to the 5-star dealer. They'll happily do it for you. But you know, if you've got some spare time, why not? Again, that shouldn't have happened because I didn't hear that click. So often this bottom one takes some persuasion. There, that's what you should have heard. Yeah, so like I said, the bottom one takes a bit of persuasion. If that doesn't click, that was a prime example of what would normally happen. You wouldn't want that happening whilst you're riding, because without these, there's no way that your visor could be retained on the base plate, short of getting gaffer tape or permanently locking it down. It's a pain in the arse, and that's what happened to me on the A40 on the way back to London. So this in the sort of high position, that's the design of the visor means that the fingers are more extended on the top half, so you want to make sure it's fully in. There you go, 2 clicks and down. Operate the visor a few times just to ensure that it's smooth. It should like click once, and once it's at the bottom it should stay shut, and sort of the positions, it shouldn't feel rough, it should be smooth yet assertive. So you could leave it there, it wouldn't move, but if you want to move it, it doesn't take a lot of effort. It doesn't feel notchy or jerky. Any sign of that, then you need to give it a clean. So again, up, sort of vertical position. See, that's more pronounced than on the older RX Corsairs. So both in, click click, boom. You get used to it after a while, but that's just a brief overview of what can go wrong when you're servicing your own helmet. The worst that can happen is if you're manhandling it and you just snap the lugs, the tabs. Not a lot you can do other than pay Phoenix distribution if you're in the UK the pleasure of replacing your new ones, which are 35 quid. I've had to do that twice, but you know, hey, it's a good helmet and it's a good investment because comfort will mean that you'll be able to ride longer, not be distracted, particularly in the weather as it is now, and be safer ultimately. So, any other questions, you know where to holler at. Cheers.